Good afternoon. So as I guess you guys probably know, I was going for server first level 90, and as it turns out, I happened to get US second level 90 and world 10th if you count from when, like the time it took you from when it launched in your region to when you got level 90. So I figured maybe I should make a video about that and explain what I did, because I didn't realize what I was doing was as effective as it was, and I wish I'd known because maybe I would have tried a little harder once I realized I had super first rather than this kind of relaxing and slacking off to a degree. Um, okay, so anyways, my hair's a little bit long these days. I'm going as Archer for Halloween, and my normal haircut doesn't part very well or look like his hair, so it looks a little silly, and without Bruins games, the beard isn't coming back for a little bit, so we've got another month on that. And Archer doesn't have a beard, so that worked out pretty well, I guess. Unfortunately, I don't get to watch any hockey games. Okay, so I guess first I'm going to just tab quickly into the game, and I'll just show you guys what I did and why it works so well, I guess. So I'm here. I'll zoom in a little bit on my character so it's not so far out. There we go. It's too close. Okay, so I'm here. Valley of the Four Winds. Whoops. I just gotta. There we go. Make that a little bigger. Valley of the Four Winds at something called the Imperial Granary. Probably not going to kill too many of them, but here there's a bunch of sprites. And these sprites come in either these mazers here, which stand on these corn piles, thieves, and thieves run around with a bunch of little sprites as well. Every time you kill one of the full health mobs, which are the mazers or the thieves, they do an AoE explosion around them that gives you 5 stacks of a buff. Each stack of the buff gives you 5% increased damage and movement speed. Sorry, I don't want to get combat just yet. And that stacks to 40. So with 40 stacks, you get 1 from each of the sprites as well. 40 stacks, you have 200% increased movement speed and 200% increased damage done. So that's why you could kill those really quickly. The other reason that this is where I decided to grind out was one of the mechanics of Metamorphosis that was introduced. So right now, whenever you kill something while you're in meta, you actually gain Fury if you deliver a killing blow to a target. So maybe I can just, whatever. Take my word for it. If you kill something, I actually haven't bothered to test. It's either innate or it's from the Glyph of Soul Consumption. This is also something I leveled with, as it gives me 20% of my total health when I kill a target in demon form. So that was nice for not dying and being able to basically constantly kill things. To give you an idea, I used 2 potions over whatever, how long it took, 5.5 hours or something. That's because I was out of combat once, if you don't count when I died at the end because I was getting frustrated with people and trying to tag too many things. And as I mentioned in the original video, the other reason this works really well is because you can drop your banners and just get 15% extra kill XP every time you kill these guys. I'm trying to think. And the other reason. So I guess I mentioned the Fury thing because it allowed me to stay in Metamorphosis the entire time, and so I had reforged into almost entirely Mastery because Mastery is balanced around being mostly in caster form and doing a little bit of burst in meta, but as soon as you can make it so you can stay in meta forever, it becomes an extremely powerful stat for killing things very quickly. And couple that with a 200% increased damage done, things were dying very fast. And the reason that I chose here was because when you added the addition of these little sprites, which have 55k health versus the normal health of the level 86 mob, which is like 129k, I was able to kill them at a net Fury gain while in Metamorphosis with all the buffs up. So that meant that I was gaining more Fury every time I killed a sprite than I was losing, so I never had to pop out of meta, except for when I was like running around tagging stuff. So that's why it worked really well. Couple that with guild perks and stuff, and you're leveling extremely fast. This has been changed since live. I believe these now give about half the XP they did. It's still now on par with normal leveling speeds. By normal I mean questing. I'm not sure why Blizzard decided to change it, honestly. I had mentioned it in, I reported it in the beta and mentioned how much faster grinding these mobs was than actual questing the level, and Blizzard didn't seem to care. So who knows? At some point, someone must have decided that they didn't want people grinding mobs that fast to level, and that was after release, and I'm not sure why it didn't happen during beta. But I guess that brings us to sort of the next point. I guess there's 2 points. So the first is, I guess, why didn't I mention this specific method in my original guide? One being that you don't really want to give away a grinding spot that you have on the off chance that someone on your server or somewhere figures it out or hears it and then makes your life hell because you're here. The other reason is I thought it, as I mentioned, I didn't think it would make it to live. It was twice as fast as, well, not quite twice as fast, but nearly twice as fast as just questing normal for an average person without, chugging lots of pots and optimizing quest routes or whatever. And so I was pretty sure they would remove it, which is why I didn't mention it in the video guide as well, because who knows, wouldn't have been that useful, and people would have got frustrated, more likely than not. So the next thing is, I guess, is this an exploit? Is the thing that people want to know. I don't think it's an exploit. I wasn't rolled back. I hope. Let me double check. Yeah, I still have all my server first achievements. So, anyways, not an exploit. I think that's pretty safe to say. Sorry, someone's sending me a PM and I need them to not try and chat to me. What the fuck was I saying? Right. So I don't think it's an exploit. I think it is poorly designed mechanics. Absolutely. I don't think that you should be able to. I didn't think that questing should have been balanced around the rate that you could grind mobs like this. If you watched, there was a video about the server world first 90 was rolled back. He did something similar, except he did mob tagging in with level 89 mobs versus these are 86. I did this solo. I couldn't solo level 89 mobs at 85, which is why I did this. And so, right. And as you may or may not know, he got rolled back to 87. Didn't get banned for it, but lost his achievements and all that jazz. I think that we don't actually know what he did, and my guess is that he actually did some other things other than mob tagging and benefiting from a buff that mobs give, because those are both completely legitimate things, and they coincidentally didn't fraps or record or stream anything of what they were doing, whereas everything I did was on my live stream, and so anyone could go look at it and see that I wasn't doing anything exploiting. So I'm pretty sure that we don't know the whole story. I think it's unlikely that Blizzard just randomly did that, because, like I said, this all was on the beta. So these methods were there, reported, and known about. So just doing what he did, claims he did, is unlikely. Anyways, back to what I did. Yeah, I don't think it's an exploit. I think it's boring, really, really boring. I had things to do the rest of the day, which is one of the reasons why I did it this way, and also because I wanted to make sure I got server first. On the positive side, I ended up with a bunch of extra these Spirit of Harmonies over other people, whatever. So yeah, not an exploit. Poorly designed, yes, but no, it's obviously not an exploit. Those did change it because they realized that it was stupid. I'm not sure why it took them that long. But yeah, those are my thoughts on it. The other thing, I guess I want to mention is, so how would you do this? So I sort of mentioned a quick guide, but so the way I ended up figuring out that this is what I wanted to do, I'm going to just sort of show it here for a second. I have this piece of paper, or a notebook actually, and what I did is I just clocked a bunch of different, so I clocked every level via every method that you could do, as to figure out which was fastest. Farming AV, farming, doing quests, grinding these mobs, doing dungeons with a group with basically 4 DPS and a very self-sufficient tank and an off-spec healer if needed. So that's, if you want to develop your own, finding grind spots and stuff, something you just do while you're leveling and testing the leveling routes and looking for mobs that give buffs like this, interact well with any sort of synergy your class has. In my case, generating extra fury, as well as healing myself while I did it, and you just want to time it out. It's it seems straightforward, but there's really no better way to do it than put the work in. So if you're going to go for server first 95 in the future, people, I'm not going to tell you where my grind spot is if I find one. Apologies, unless I decide not to level after I've put in the work. But if you put in the work, find a spot, you can do it. No, I don't think there's much else that I want to say. You know, that's pretty much it. I'm trying to think. I think it's silly that people get upset about these things. I guess a bunch of the Alliance tried to report me for hacking. I'm not entirely sure what they meant by hacking, but apparently that was going on in their trade chat when they saw my spam go off for Server First 90. Fairly entertaining, I guess. Yeah, that's it. So if you have any questions or anything, post them in the comments. And then pretty much this week we get back to our regularly scheduled program. I will do, my standard guides and stuff as we kill each boss. I think I will do very brief normal modes this time around. I didn't do them for any of Kata stuff because they were pretty easy and they're obviously done the first week. But that's all I have to do over the next week. So I might do a quick video on each of the normal mode bosses. In the same style that I normally do them, assuming you know all the mechanics and just discussing the most efficient way to learn and do them, because that is sort of what I specialize in. So stay tuned for those, subscribe, you'll get emails when they're done, then heroic modes the week after, depending on how many we kill at our current gear level. As always, thanks for tuning in. Cheers.